honestly, I would do something on the solid side
Okay.
for your first. Navy blue first, charcoal will be my second choice.
Yeah.
Again, the reason for that is the versatility.
Mhm.
Once you have that with your first suit, you don't want to do anything too flashy. You want to have something that you can wear on multiple occasions that you're going to get the most wears out of. If you break things down, cost per wear, a blue or charcoal suit, by the time you wear it 100 times, what did it really cost you?
I think my bottom of my shirt had came out my pants and it was hanging out. And
Oh,
so my shirt hanging out, collar shirt and everything. I meant to look great that day. Didn't even notice it, but for her eye went right down. She said, what, how can I help you? Like automatically was like, the defense was even more up there. And so I would say I have to have a habit of checking myself so many times just to make sure that, hey, am I gonna be seen as lazy or looking crazy or something? Okay, welcome to Coach It Unplugged. Of course, a wonderful episode we have. We're highlighting Black History Month with a special guest. And before we even get into all that good stuff, you'll want to make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. You've been coming to my DM saying, hey, what happens to the next episode? Well, you should have hit that notification bell so that you never miss it. It is a pleasure, first of all, to be in front of you, to watching my content and bring me to deliver, because it allows me to get the opportunity to share with you some great people that I think that holds a certain level of reputation, prestige, and quality. And so that's all I'm trying to do. And so without further ado, I'm actually going to introduce you to a gentleman who is the owner of a pristine men's fashion company. I can say as much word as I want to with this one, but I want to keep it respective to the quality and the design that he puts into his company. And I just said, let me just send a DM to this gentleman here and see if we can join us on my show for Coaching Unplugged, because I felt like, hey, this is going to be somebody that I feel is a great mentor, especially if you need to get that extra tie, that extra, a suit jacket in your closet. Maybe you want to add a pin, lapel pin that I'm wearing right now of one of his to your closet. And so the way I would say to do that is to definitely introduce to Mr. Taylor with Harrison Blake apparel, clothing, men's fashion. You'll definitely want to be stick with us through the whole episode. So without further ado, Mr. Taylor, how are you this evening?
doing well. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate the
Absolutely.
opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to have you, sir. I have been looking at your content. You have your Instagram. It's actually where I connected with you originally. And funny enough, it's actually from a gentleman. I have an episode on my YouTube channel called Dress Like a Boss. And so I was talking to that gentleman who also has a couple of his hoodies and shirts, and his style is impeccable as far as just actually finding clothes at the thrift store. And so believe it or not, so different type of patterns and all that stuff. But anyway, would love to kind of get an insight about what got you started, where you from, kind of give us a good snapshot of you.
All right, appreciate that. Yeah. Been living in Michigan for over 20, 25 years now. So this is pretty much home. That's where the business is based. We are an online retailer, e-commerce. So we deal with customers all over the world, and been at it since 2014. Started, like you said, with just lapel pins, just a hobby.
Okay.
And so, guys out there, if you have something you're passionate about, you can always turn it into a business. And so I did that. And then in last year, we introduced our custom clothing line. So we're doing that as well as custom bespoke shoes and working with customers from all around the world, from the US to Saudi Arabia, the UK. And
Wow.
the way that we do that is connecting just like we're talking right now on Zoom. So
Wow.
you can make a Zoom appointment, which is beautiful. You don't have to be in Michigan to support the brand or to get our products. We can get online with you and design. And that's really been really the way we've kind of cut our teeth in this industry is by doing that, making the opportunity for everyone to connect. And I'm really passionate about menswear, men's fashion, and grateful for the opportunity to speak with you.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a pleasure again to share some of the quality of history as far as men's fashion goes. Before I even get into that, as I'd spoken with you earlier, you are the highlight of Black History Month for me on this channel at this current month in this year. So, and the reason why I came to that conclusion, just kind of briefly here, is that I felt as though, you know, you are driving some change, because obviously when we think of clothing, we think about the type of outfits we want to pull out the closet. It's all based on our identity. Sometimes it's sometimes synonymous to who we are, and sometimes in some cases for me, when I walk out the house, I feel a little different. Like I kind of got a little more of a badge of honor, kind of a sense of, you know, you can't tell me nothing. You know, like I got my hat on, I got my turtleneck. You know, so these type of things make me feel a little bit more like, okay, I earn some respect even more once I've, you know, come into the workplace, or I've, you know, I'm just going out. I may feel a little bougie. So in this aspect, what kind of led you to being able to have the creative design for fashion? What kind of drove those pieces together for you?
I like everything you said, made perfect sense, and that's really how I've been ever since I was young. I think it started for me in middle school. Always differentiated myself from the crowd. I dressed a little bit extra, if you will, even at a young age. And the reason for that is, like you said, you had an elevated sense of self-worth. The way people treated you was just a little bit different. I felt like I was getting more respect, or was just seen more. And even now, I still feel that way. Like you said, the way you look, the way you're dressed right now, like nobody should be able to tell you anything. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you look like $1,000,000. You got the turtleneck, you got the blazer, the little accent piece. It looks like you could be in a music video. You know, we don't. And the funny thing is, like, people don't know who you are, right? They
Um,
just see you, make an assumption about you based off how you look. Like it or not, that's what people do. We size everybody up, we judge everybody that fast just by taking a snapshot look at them. And when somebody sees you the way you look, they think twice about how they're going to treat you, because they don't know who you are. And I love that. It's opened a lot of doors for me. So I'm a big proponent of that. You know, dressing well elevates your own self-worth.
have you ever been in a situation to where um, you know, you didn't have it all together as far as the outfit goes? Like you walked out the house, you
Yeah.
thought you had it all together. Somebody had to come and correct you, say, you know what, Mr. Taylor, you know, you got something going on here, or you know, you could have done something different. Have you ever had a situation like that?
I've had a situation similar to that. Uh, Let me explain. So if you have a menswear brand like me, you would think that all the time I'm suited up. And there's a lot of people who ask me, do you ever wear a t-shirt or a hoodie? And I laugh because I do. And the funny thing is, I was at a grocery store. I ran into somebody that recognized me, and I was dressed down. And so it was a bad experience, because I wasn't on brand. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So once you kind of start to do this lifestyle, I'm still learning this myself.
Okay.
You always have to be on, because you never know who you're going to run into. You never know the connections you're going to make. You might bump into somebody where there's an opportunity to make a business connection. And if I'm not dressed properly or groomed properly, and it just doesn't match, I can't go up to them and give them a business card, or make any kind of connection, because I wasn't on my game. You
Mm,
know.
understood. So, and that kind of brings me to my thoughts of when I was a young young man. I didn't learn the dress aspect as far as the respect to certain type of shirts or ties or blazers probably until I got older. But my mom was a single parent household, so my mom was the one who really invoked style as far as from a young age, certain type of looks. You know, we go to different picture shoots that she would do for us, for family and stuff like that, and was always, dressed down. She made sure she never had anything. I never had less. So that was one thing I want to highlight. She ever watched this episode, she's gonna be like, well, I made sure you was looking good. But as I got into I guess my teenage years or whatever, I started to really pay attention. Like, I want to have that type of prestige. Look, I see professors that would walk in the room, or people that, they had that sense of appeal. And so I would always was curious. And it wasn't until I'd say I would say 2 years ago, I started working in a bank. My full time, I work for a bank. I'm a small business consultant now, but when I first started, it was a black run branch manager of the building, and he was very pristine, very clean, just like how you're looking right now. He had the cufflinks with the insignia, even I would say notable characters on there. And so certain things that were like, okay, it's all in the detail, and you had to have that one-on-one conversation. Have you ever ran into a young man where you had to kind of say, hey, wait, you need to, I see what you're trying to do here, but this is this is what you need to do. Like, have you had to have that connection to be able to, share, and how did that go?
Yeah, there's been a few times I've run into some people and they were really making an effort, which I still complimented them. Like, hey, like you said, I see what you're trying to do. I appreciate it. It's refreshing to see. But there was a few things off with the accessories, not in the right place, the placement of them, and so I just made them aware. You know what? Actually, this is supposed to like this, and this is the function for that. They seem to appreciate it. I'm always a little hesitant to correct people because sometimes you don't know. Maybe that's how they want to do it. But then other times, if there is an opportunity to kind of give people maybe the history of this, or why this is the case to do certain things,
Mhm.
I like to
Sure.
take the opportunity to do that.
Okay, understood. So we're talking about first impressions, and that's really where this episode is really leading to. And I think about first impression when you walk into a room. Again, it's about how do they see you, right? So where do you see the way how things are going now with the generation now? People are just, young men are coming up into, at 17, 18, 19, they're just getting into thinking about college, or maybe they're, thinking about getting out of college and looking for a job. What would you say should set the standard for them, hindsight, as far as their first impression based on how they dress? What is something that's like they should be focused on to really, look at pulling out, if they're going to Macy's, or they're going to Dillard's, or they're going to somewhere that they can shop to be able to do it? What should be like a top of mind focus for them?
Well, I think the first thing would be to have a good suit, a good high quality suit. That'll be the best investment that you can make. Um, uh, Blue or charcoal would be probably my number one choices.
Okay.
And the reason for that is it's the most versatile and it's never going out of style. With your first suit, you don't want to do anything too flashy. You want to have something that you can wear on multiple occasions that you're going to get the most wears out of. If you break things down, cost per wear, a blue or charcoal suit, by the time you wear it 100 times, what did it really cost you? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You can wear it on a job interview. You can wear it to weddings. You can dress it up. You can dress it down. You can wear it without a tie. You can wear it with sneakers. So I mean, versatility is key. But having a good, high quality wool suit,
Mhm.
that'd be my first move. And then from there, you just start to add on and build your collection strategically.
Okay, understood. Now, and I kind of going into the whole collection piece. I really had lost it, for a long time. I was trying to figure out, like, okay, do I need to stay, with the patterns, stripes? I see you got a really nice classic royal blue suit, or just about close to it. And so, your first impression when somebody see you, how should it be? A certain type of style, like something that kind of just says, okay, if I want to get this reaction, I should be able to probably pull this type of, plaid, or stick with the neutrals. What would you say that falls in line? 'Cause I'm sure there's gonna be somebody out there that's like, wow, well, what exactly should I pick up? Is it, what I mean? Like, I know you said charcoal and stuff, but should I, focus on patterns? Should I do something solid? What would you say?
I, personally, it's all preference, but honestly, I would do something on the solid side.
Okay.
Um, for your first. Navy blue first, charcoal will be my second choice.
Yeah.
Again, the reason for that is the versatility.
Mhm.
Once you have that, then you can build. The worst thing you want to do is have, let's say you have a heavily patterned suit, and that's all you have, right? So you go to one event, wow, you knock them dead, right? Everybody loves it, but then 2, 3 weeks later, there's another event you have to go to, and if all you have is one suit, you wear that same pattern suit again, whether it's really noticeable colors or whatever the case may be, everybody's gonna remember it. So now it's like, man, he just wore that. You know what I mean? And so the beautiful thing about sticking with something basic at the beginning is you can interchange the lesser costing items like shirts, ties, pocket squares, lapel pins, accessories, and people won't even notice that you're wearing that same one or two suits over and over,
Mhm.
because the look totally changes. You know, got a red tie.
Mhm.
All right, next time you see me, I got a blue shirt and I got a yellow tie. It's a whole new suit.
Right.
You know,
Right.
when you do something too bold at the beginning, it's like that's it. That's all they've got.
Yeah.
People know. So as you build up your wardrobe, then you start to add those wow factor pieces. But at the very beginning, get the basics and then build from there. That's my suggestion.
Well, I appreciate that, and I would say you're right. I definitely have started to where I have so many ties now, but I know in the very beginning I was like, okay, I'm just starting out. Was for my look, and I'm working at the bank. I have people who make millions of dollars come in to talk to me. I have to come correct because that's something that once they leave me, a lot of times I want them to say, "Wow, that brother really looked good." But obviously, it's not the looking good part. It's also you got to smell good too. So I want to highlight that for everybody watching. But anyway, beyond that, I think you're definitely right on that point. Is making sure you have at least the basics and work around those basics. And I think I struggled with that at first because I was like, okay, what kind of style would kill it? Anyway, going into it, I wanted to also kind of ask you, based on things that have happened. This has been a rough past year, as you know. How has that either motivated you? Has it affected you at all? What would you say that has done for you at this current time?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's affected everybody in a lot of different ways. It's certainly affected me. It's affected my business over the past year, but in a lot of ways for the good, surprisingly. And I say that because I have a couple different aspects of the business. I have a monthly subscription club, which is a tie and four accessories that are kind of coordinated every month to help you elevate your accessory game and look. And what I've noticed is there's been a decline in that. And that's simply people are sending me messages. You know what? I'm not going into the office now. I don't need to have all these accessories. I have more ties than I need. I've been in your subscription
Mhm.
for a year or 6 months. And so they have so many different things they can mix and match. But on the other hand, I thought to myself, this will be a good opportunity to push forward with the custom clothing because if you need less, then you should have better quality. And so um, that's kind of been the focus of the brand for 2020 and now into 2021. And I think if it wasn't for COVID, I might have stuck with really pushing and highlighting more of the accessories. But now the shoes and the custom clothing is really starting to become the bulk of the business because people are needing less. They don't need so many accessories, but everybody people are still getting married, people are still doing events, and they
Mhm.
need that one quality suit at least. I've helped a lot of guys get their first custom suit,
Mhm.
and doing this on Zoom, I've been able to open up my customer base outside of Michigan,
Sure.
and so I'm reaching other gentlemen that are accustomed to getting custom suits, but they can't meet with people face to face because of COVID restrictions, and so I offered it through Zoom, which was an option that they didn't know was there, and so building new relationships that way. So it's been a blessing and a curse,
Sure.
and emotionally and just mentally, it's a grind. We
Right.
all want to get back out there and do everything, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
I know, I
safety
know, I
first.
understand exactly where you're coming from too, because I'm more of a people person. And for about 3 months last year, I had to work from home, and I know it was for me. I could tell you it was a struggle because I'm so used to meeting with my clients in person. But at the same time, I think that especially in what you do, you still have a way of being able to connect. And so for the person who's like, well, I am working from home, but I still got to look like something, at least from the top, from the, the middle half up. Uh, so for the Zoom, is there like a certain attire that, they should kind of be cognizant of, as far as being in front of the camera? Like they don't have any events like that coming up, but as far as their Monday through Friday, they have to log on. Like we're talking right now virtually. Should it be a certain type of look that they should go after for that?
I think it's different for every organization, but the way I look at things is, how do you want to present yourself? How do you want to be seen and viewed by the world, especially as Black men? It's a whole different ball game if everybody from your job is meeting online for a conference or for a meeting, and you're in a hoodie,
Hmm.
as opposed to you're in a nice suit. Hey, you can be in pajamas at the bottom, but
Yeah.
the thing is, it's still presentation. It's still
Mhm.
the way people view you. You know what I mean? First impression, or just people can think, how's he been holding up during COVID? I jump on here looking like this, the way you're dressed. People are like, man, he's thriving. As opposed to getting on there, uh, 3 day old shadow, and
Mhm.
just people can see a wrinkly old t-shirt, and
Mhm.
you're still a good guy that
Mhm.
they work with, but
Mhm.
their impression of you is a slightly different thing,
Yeah. Oh, I could tell you there was a time I remember, and believe it or not, even for me, years ago, I was selling advertising, and I walked in a carpet store, carpet business owner. I think my bottom of my shirt had came out my pants and it was hanging out. And so my shirt hanging out, collar shirt and everything. I meant to look great that day. Didn't even notice it, but for her eye went right down. She said, what, how can I help you? Like automatically was like, the defense was even more up there. And so I would say I have to have a habit of checking myself so many times just to make sure that, hey, am I gonna be seen as lazy or looking crazy or something like that, or am I gonna actually be respected and say, hey, we want to actually know who's this person coming in. So I definitely share that, how they view you. So my next thing, it goes more into, well, what actually motivates you to at least being able to do what you do? What's a big motivator for you?
I think for me is the challenge of building a business. Is
Mhm.
one that I love, I enjoy. But also, I named the business Harrison Blake Apparel. It's named after my son, so that's a built-in motivator for me
Okay.
to protect the brand's name and brand reputation,
Yeah.
and hopefully be able to leave something for him and my daughter, who they both, at their young age, to help with what they can with the business. But just when it's a family business like that, you're very protective of it. So I try to make sure every customer is completely satisfied, and that I have a great relationship with my custom clients, because I'm very protective of the name.
Awesome, and I truly respect that. Is your son, really quick? Does your son idolize you into wearing a lot of the suits when he goes out the house? I'm sure he does, but I just, is that like an interest for him at this point?
Slightly, not really. He's 10, so
Okay.
he's into streetwear. You
Okay.
know, what I do appreciate is he's into looking really good.
Okay.
He wants to make sure he looks great.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing for me. And when he does have some suits, he does have nice shoes, and I've been showing him how to take care of things.
Okay.
Um, so how to shine his shoes, and things like that. So he ties his own tie. He understands how to match things up. So he's learning. And as he gets older, when it's appropriate, I'm sure he'll be in suits more.
Okay.
He definitely says he wants to help model for on the Instagram. So
Oh, that's awesome. Has he been the one to talk about YouTube and all those things too as well? Is he like yeah?
I tell you what, anybody who has kids, they know any kid under, I don't know, teenage years wants
Mhm.
to be a YouTuber these days. So
Mhm.
that's one of his biggest goals, is to be a YouTuber, and to create his own brand. So he said he will help me with mine, but he's definitely got some ideas to create his own brand, and
That's
that makes me smile. You know.
That's awesome. And I think that's beautiful to be able to have a son that say, "Hey, I want to be out there too and be just like you."
Mhm.
But I definitely, I could say even more of our conversation. I feel more inspired. What would you say is something that you want to leave in the place of young men who are watching this episode right now, or anyone really? But as far as especially young men, as far as being able to have that something that top of mind focus for them and their look, or they're just kind of struggling out, they kind of want to be able to see where they can start. What would you share with them?
The biggest thing is believe in yourself that you can do it. Anything is possible, and to take in positive messages every day. Find yourself a mentor, even if it's just somebody online, um, videos or something that you watch that keeps you motivated and upbeat. Because so many negative images out there of us,
Mm,
you have to combat against that. So I know for me, my personal mentor electronically was Les Brown.
mm.
When I was starting my business, it was very difficult, very challenging, still is. But just listening to those motivating words every day and realizing that it is possible to do it, that's big, because it has to start in your mind first, and then from there you put it into action. And if you can get around other like-minded people that want to do positive things, do it. Because, like I said, there's so much negative out there, and time wasting activities.
Mhm.
Get into the right crowd, get around people who are like-minded, who want to do things and go farther, and you guys can run far as a pack.
I'm so glad you brought that up when you just said, the people around you. It definitely makes a difference. I would say I always um, was attracted to people who were older, because
Mhm.
you tend to, usually the older people have a little bit more common ground as far as where your direction should be, and not anybody, but just people who are about doing something, about being progressive. I think with this channel, my goal was to say, hey, I didn't want to be complacent. I wanted something to be accountable to me, and I can be accountable to them. And this space allows me to do that. And so I'm so glad you brought that up. And I hope that anyone who's watching this gains something of quality and significance. I know I have, to be honest with you. It's been a pleasure. And is there anything else that you'd want to share and be able to share based on your brand and where things are kind of going forward?
Going forward, if anybody's interested in learning more about the custom process, reach out, get in touch. I'm very easy to talk to. I'm very responsive. Talk to everybody. I can walk you through the process. Other than that, man, I just thank you for your time. But I want to make everyone aware too. I have some free resources on my website. If you go to the website, Harrison Blake Apparel, um, I can't remember the tab right now. I believe it's in the About tab. If you scroll down there, it brings you to free resources. There's about five books that I've written, that are absolutely free, that you can download, that are all about business, entrepreneurship, and then also the first book that I would recommend for any younger person or somebody who's transitioning out of high school or college would be The Life of a Gentleman, which is all about getting involved in this gentleman's lifestyle, elevating your look, some of the do's, the don'ts, and it doesn't just talk about fashion. It also talks about etiquette and different ways you can increase your credit score and things like that, just to be an overall, better man. And that's my small way of giving back to the community.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to read it. I'd love to look a little bit more about into it. I definitely can always sharpen some tools and skills to be that right gentleman, because I think that is important. I think that is definitely needed, and I can't thank you enough as well. So, with all that being said, again, Mr. Taylor, thank you for joining us. Harrison Blake Apparel. You definitely want to make sure you stay on top of his site. Check him out. Let him know what you think. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you think about the episode. What are some things that you can do to step your game up in the closet, or even just about yourself. You know, what would you add to the first impression and as far as what it matters? So let us know that in the comments section. And also, if you have any questions for myself, you can go to Covered Culture _ hit my DM as well. You can also visit Harrison Blake as well. He's really candid and too. And so most importantly, the highlight of Black History Month, Mr. Taylor, thank you again, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate this opportunity.
Anytime. Well, again, stay unplugged with us each and every week. I appreciate you. Peace.